People love skiing in Britain more than you'd expect.
Pam Thorburn, former World Cup skier and now ski cross athlete, goes against the tide on popularity of skiing in the UK.
Events like the London Ski Show shows how big skiing in this country is. You know, we have a huge industry in the UK for skiing holidays, and there's so many people, you know, love to go skiing and snowboarding, that it's actually much bigger than anyone really thinks it is.
The same view of Pam Thorburn is shared by Ben Reid, coach and former Alpine ski racer, and Findlay, talent development officer at Snowsport, England.
You know, skiing in the UK is going well. We've got some good kids coming through the snow domes, and at the minute it's just trying to, you know, implement and tailor a good structured program, learning from the Europeans and how they do it, how we can try and do that in the snow domes and stuff in the UK. In 5-10 years time we'll have some good kids coming through in the children's team at the minute, and if they stay focused and keep their feet on the ground and not think that they've made it when they become British champion, then in 5-10 years time we'll have some good skiers maybe in the World Cup. Instead of, you know, struggling to get in the World Cup, we'll be competing all the time for top 30 positions.
I think it's improved a lot over the last few years. With there being so many different disciplines available and the growth of slopestyle skiing and snowboarding, that's presented an alternative route for a lot of athletes.
As Findlay has just suggested, Pam Thorburn recognises the role of slopestyle in the rise of skiing's popularity.
I think nowadays, because we have such a strong free ski team, which most of our top free skiers are they all learned on dry slope, and that's really inspiring a lot of the young kids to take up free ski and kind of half pipe and slopestyle just being included in the Olympics, and we have huge funding for that in Britain now, because some of our guys are the best in the world. That I think now it's taken the focus a little bit off racing and moving on to that. So, you know, you've definitely got the same amount of kids or even more kids getting involved, just not so much only on the racing side anymore.
But what is the reason behind the success of slopestyle? Findlay has a good point to share.
With slopestyle, it's a lot easier to train that in the UK through the dry slopes and the indoor snow domes. The reason for that, with being able to train on the rails, that transfers over pretty easily to the snow competitions compared to Alpine, where the runs are longer, steeper, and the snow conditions change. That's the biggest challenge there.
The idea of Findlay is not completely backed up by Ben Reid, though.
Yeah, I mean, the facilities we have here, as long as we, you know, tailor the right programs and stuff, and just keep them actually teaching them how to ski instead of making them crash and bash through gates all the time, then I think, yeah, it's great what we've got.
Yet, he sees why slopestyle is getting bigger and bigger.
You know, it's obviously, you go out to these ski resorts and stuff and you see young kids flying off these massive kickers, pulling these tricks. I think it just appeals more to the eye, or someone who doesn't know about snow sports or skiing, or just a general member of the public.
Brown unwinding his fury. What was that?
Bobby Brown!
What was that?
That's the first time that has ever been done.
A triple?
Switch double Misty 1440. Are you kidding me?
But where does slopestyle come from, and how did it reach its popularity? Findlay has a go.
Although these sports have grown from the growth of snowboarding, but also inline skating, skateboarding, BMX, and they present a really good visual opportunity for television. So a lot of sponsors have come in, and that's helped accelerate the growth. The traditional alpine racing discipline has always been the most popular, but it's also the hardest sport to crack. With so many athletes globally doing that sport, it's always going to be difficult for a British or English athlete to make it to the top.
Having raced in the Alpine Ski World Cup, Pam Thorburn knows it very well, but she's still very optimistic for the future of skiing in this country.
It's hard for us because now all our funding's been pulled, so everything for all the racers is self-funded. So it's really hard to kind of be at the top level and to break into World Cup, for example, when you're paying everything yourself and you're doing it at a budget. For example, you don't have like your physios or your ski techs and all your coaches you need, but there's definitely people doing it, and it's achievable. It's just a lot more difficult.